What are the things people ask me all the time? How do legends with highly charismatic personalities, how do they do what they do? How do they achieve what they achieve? And today what we're going to do is go over 5 things that will help you not only understand about what they do, but why they do it. Because many people have legenditis, if you will. They want to become a legend. They want to do extraordinary things, but the problem is they've been kind of misguided, if you will. What I want to do is I want to set that straight. We're going to go over these 5 things that are very, very, very important, because these 5 things can help you become so much more magnetic, pulling people towards you just in simple conversations or even DMs. The first thing I want to do is understand that legends lead with questions, not conclusions. And that's one of the things that my mentor taught me. He says, you've got to understand, Doug, questions are the answer. If you're looking for the answer on how to talk with people, talk about them exclusively. Ask questions. Don't come to any conclusions. Let them make the conclusions, because then they have ownership. And this is why we're going to talk today about how that legendary, let's call it communication, really, really does work. Number 1, questions opens minds. Questions open minds. Conclusions closes them. It's that simple. When you lead with conclusion, what happens is people brace or want to debate. A lot of times that they say, well, that's not true, or that doesn't apply to me, or well, I disagree with that. When you lead with a question, what happens is they think with you. I mean, get that. When you lead with a question, they're thinking with you, not against you. And they feel respected instead of preached at. And that's what a lot of leaders do. That's what a lot of entrepreneurs do, is they have a tendency to say my way or the highway, but that's not how legendary and very charismatic people work. You do not want to come to conclusions, because then all they're going to do is, for the most part, see you either as a dictator, see you either as someone that's not that great of a leader, but most importantly, someone that's got more of an agenda of getting their way versus moving the person closer into how you want them to be and how you want them to act. That's why the questions open minds. Conclusions, they close them. And the reason why is because questions, you bring them along. They're thinking with you. Conclusions, often they're thinking against you. Number 2, questions turn followers into owners. You're thinking, what? My mentor told me that one time. Doug, questions turn your followers into ownership. You're giving them ownership of where they're going, what they think, and what they can do. It isn't your thinking. What you want to do is you want to catalyze and you want to ignite their thinking. And I'm like, well, that makes so much sense. Legends ask questions that make people generate their own answers. Did you get that? Legends ask questions that force them to generate their own answers. And oftentimes those answers are perfect for where they are as far as in the process. It may be a little bit different than how you would have answered it, but that's okay. Legends generate the questions, and then the flock, the person, the listener, whatever you want to call it, generate their own answers, which transforms, I'm doing what you said, and that's dictatorial. I'm doing what you said into I'm owning what we created. Did you get that? Questions move the listener, move the person into I'm doing what you said versus I'm owning what we created. And when you move from followers, turning them into having ownership of where the team is going, where you're going, what you're doing, or at least getting their input, it really truly is going to impact them in a very powerful way. And that's why that in a meeting recently with our team, which is not a direct sales team, but an actual team that works with us on our companies, I just simply asked a question and got all kinds of phenomenal answers. Probably better than my answers. This is why that you want to do this, because questions turn followers into owners. Number 3, questions reveal reality, assumptions distort it, conclusions distort it. And what happens is when you reveal a reality to a person, it opens up their mind in a different way. When you assume you lead based on a story in your head. When you make those assumptions, you're assuming they're not doing the work. You're assuming they're doing it wrong. You're assuming that they are not the person that you thought you were. When you ask, when you talk, and when you draw them to you and get them thinking with you, did you get that? You want charismatic people always get people to think with them versus against them. You can uncover what people actually think, feel, and even fear. And that's one of the reasons why the questions reveal the reality of where the person is, not where you may think they are. Sometimes they'll surprise you. Sometimes you'll go, whoa, I had no idea that was going on in your life. Or I had no idea that you had that skill set. Or I had no idea that you wanted that. This is why that when you ask questions, it reveals a reality about the listener that you may not have known that may work heavily in your favor. That's why that legends and charismatic people always reveal reality, but it's the listener's reality that you must know about that maybe you didn't, and your reality that you want them to understand this is where we're headed. Number 4, questions create connection long before any type of blueprint, any type of direction, or anything else. Questions always draw people forward. That's what my mentor said over and over and over. Questions are magnetic, he said. The most magnetic thing, even outside of curiosity, are questions. And he says in sales, and let me tell you a story real quick. I was working with a real estate agent, and she was asking the wrong questions, to be honest, because they were more focused on what she wanted and what she thought that they wanted to purchase. And I just simply said, you know something, you're rushing into assuming some things that are wrong. You need to start asking the right questions, not just ask questions. And she says, explain. Well, you're telling the home buyers, for the most part, this is what you think they ought to do. You don't tell the home buyers what you think they ought to do. What you do is you ask questions, find out what they want, and then lead them to that place that can help them attain that in some form of a home. Legendary leaders ask questions that make people feel connected, feel that you have their best interest at heart, feel that you really truly care about them, not just a sale, but you care about them. And as the real estate agent started changing her questions and asking more upon not this is what I think you should do, but let's take a look at where you would like to be 6 months from now. How would it feel being in the house? What are you looking to do with it? What kind of house would be the perfect house? Now, most real estate people probably know that. She didn't. I don't know why. And it changed. It changed how her response was from people looking at a house to how she walked them through it. Because she understands that in order to sell something, people have to be emotionally moving towards you. And those questions pull people towards her. And today, she's got a whole different program, a whole different business going on. And also, questions build charisma and trust. Did you get that? Over time, questions build charisma and trust. The leader who consistently asks, what are you seeing? Tell me about it. What am I missing here? I ask that all the time with our team. What am I missing here? Let's make sure that, we got everything plugged in. We've got everything rocking, and we got all the pistons in the engine moving. What would you do? This is one of my favorite questions. I love asking this with people. Let me ask you a question. What would you do? Let's take a look at that. This is how the charismatic people pull people towards them, because the moment that you say, what would you do? You're displaying respect to them. You're giving them ownership to them. And most importantly, they feel like that they're now connected in a much different place than they were earlier, because now you respected them enough to ask their opinion. People experience people that ask questions, a lot of questions. They have a lot of respect for them. They look at them as a whole different salesperson, a whole different leader than the average leader that says, this is what I want you to do. That's a boss. That's a supervisor. That's not a leader. And you want to become an extraordinary leader. And how to do that? Very simple. Questions open mind, conclusions closes them. Ask questions. Questions turn followers into owners. Ask questions. Questions reveal reality. Assumptions usually distort it. Ask questions. Questions create connection before any type of blueprint, any type of path, any type of direction. Connect. Ask questions. And questions build charisma and trust over time, unlike anything else, because the more that you question somebody, the more they're going to feel like you're really listening. Guys, we're doing something special here. And what I want to do is I want to say, follow this, subscribe to this channel, lock this video down. And the reason for this is because if you're looking to increase your sales, increase your income, increase your impact, increase your leadership, this is the place. And we're going to be doing it through all kinds of sales that are soaked and all types of teachings that are soaked with charisma training, leadership training, sales training, recruiting training, on and on and on. Lock this down. Like, follow, share. Spread the fire.